Good afternoon. The organization that I have selected for my capstone project is Thermo Fisher Scientific. I am a Thermo Fisher Scientific employee. The strategic issue and recommendation that I propose is around the expanded and deeper commitment to health equity globally. Thermo Fisher is an organization in the life science and clinical research space. Its mission is to enable our customers to make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer. Thermo Fisher Scientific's brands include Thermo Scientific, Applied Biosystems, Invitrogen, Fisher Scientific, Unity Lab Services, Patheon, and PPD. The organization did more than $42 billion last year and has more than 120,000 employees in more than 40 countries. As an industry leader, we understand it's our customers who are at the forefront of innovation, pushing the boundaries where is possible in science and medicine. That's why we're here to support them every step of the way with our unmatched, expansive portfolio of brands, depth of capabilities, and comprehensive and scalable services, including new lab startup programs, support during all phases of clinical trials, pharma services, and more. This expansive depth of brand portfolio mix is a critical part of our unique value proposition, offering many elements that deliver meaningful value and one that I believe where we can advance health equity globally. For some background, Chester Fisher was only 19 years old when he bought a stockroom of lab supplies from a company called the Pittsburgh Testing Laboratory. That company later created a company called Alcoa. Family friends signed papers for him to get financing to buy the company, and they turned over ownership to him when he turned 21. For those of you that are familiar with Pittsburgh, the office was located downtown, but flooded, and it forced him to relocate to Forbes Avenue, which is now near where PPG Paints Arena is. The company stayed there until 1966, when Duquesne University took over the building, and they renamed it Fisher Hall. Mr. Fisher saw an ad during World War I seeking companies to make special aiming devices for field guns. Fisher met with Andrew Mellon, explained what he wanted to do. Mellon gave him the money, and he bought the equipment that he needed to make the devices that were used by soldiers in battle in France. That was where he learned about soldiers' exposure to mustard gas. So he sent 7 rail cars of equipment to create laboratories on the front lines in France to test for gas to protect Allied troops. In 1926, he changed the name from the Scientific Materials Company to Fisher Scientific. In 1940, it was Fisher chemicals that were used in the Manhattan Project. In 1955, it was Fisher that provided Dr. Salk with the reagents for the polio vaccine in his research. Company acquisitions continued, and in 1957, Mr. Fisher bought Malchette & Sons, which specialized in medical apparatus and supported critical medical research, including early cancer investigations. So you will see that from its beginnings, Fisher Scientific was focused on health and making improvements to health equity. In 1976, Fisher sent 16 cargo jets to Nigeria to provide teaching equipment to support educational programs with an emphasis on science. In 1982, Fisher provided the components for the battery-powered system in the Space Shuttle Columbia. After Desert Shield and Desert Storm in 1990 and 91, Fisher sent supplies to Kuwait to rebuild 80 laboratories. In 1997, Fisher worked on an asset assessment study to determine the feasibility for Russia's Ministry of Health to build a program that would be like the FDA. Again, with geographies like Nigeria, the Middle East, and Africa, Fisher is attempting to improve the equity of global communities. As a funny story, when James Fisher, the son of Chester, the founder, helped celebrate the 100th anniversary with the company in 2002, he said that when his mother would go to dinner parties, people would ask her what her husband did for a living, and she would say, "Oh, he's in laboratory supplies." But people often thought that she said laboratory supplies, And James said when they would be invited to homes of friends for dinner, friends always wanted to show Chester their plumbing. For the Thermo side of the organization, Thermo was co-founded in 1956 by Peter Nemikos and George Hatsopoulos, and there was a focus on analytical and lab products for the scientific community. Thermo acquired different companies too with a similar focus to Thermo Electron, and in 2006, Thermo Electron and Fisher Scientific merged. I always tell the story that when I asked a coworker why the merger would be a good fit, it was explained to me that it would be a perfect marriage because Thermo made the refrigerators and Fisher sold the groceries. I just wanted to call out a few additional examples of where Thermo Fisher is focusing on patient care, including the companion diagnostics at Heidelberg, cell therapy development, mRNA vaccine production, and expanded testing for lung and breast cancer patients. There is always an emphasis on patients' improved outcomes. The Thermo Fisher Scientific's corporate social responsibility approach is built on the framework of 4 pillars: operations, colleagues, communities, and environment. Our communities are defined as global, not just local to our existing brick and mortar presence. We can have a focus on positively impacting marginalized communities in a global setting where we can make their lives better. Leveraging our capabilities, providing resources, making a difference globally, and focusing on innovation to serve our customers. And we can serve our customers by assisting them in achieving their missions and continuing our mission of making the world cleaner, healthier, and safer as we share similar goals and health outcomes. As for prioritized status, based on the results of the last in-depth priority assessment by Thermo, with the assistance of external firms, these are areas that are of highest importance to our business and to our stakeholders. We have prioritized our ESG areas of innovation, diversity and inclusion, climate change, product safety and quality, talent management, and community engagement and development. And each feeds into the other to advance the ESG goals for the organization. From a SWOT perspective, Thermo is a market leader and drives innovations in all aspects of the business. All business units participate in R&D under the Thermo Fisher umbrella. The weaknesses and threats are external and include unknowns such as inflation, tariffs, the potential increased costs of raw materials, and supply chain disruptions from events like war or dock strikes. But the opportunities section is where Thermo Fisher differentiates itself, because innovation is at the foreground of the company, and the company can expand in existing markets with new product lines and enter into new markets with existing lines, so growth is probable. And with STEM programs being implemented globally, health equity will be part of every conversation because the scientists of the future are discussing positively impacting their local communities. Expansion into countries like Malaysia, Singapore, South Korea, Thailand, Vietnam, and the UAE should be focuses, as Thermo already has brick and mortar in each of those countries. As an example, Thermo has partnered with KAUST, the King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, to build out their Center of Excellence and their new laboratories. Having a physical presence in the Riyadh province makes hiring local talent very straightforward. With a presence in that province, health equity can be addressed not only in that province, not only in Saudi Arabia, but in neighboring countries. Our STEM focus shows our passion around addressing the needs and opportunities in the communities in which we operate. Our community action councils and business resource groups work all year long with many nonprofit organizations to continue with the goal of getting more students involved in the sciences. Our council and resource group members are 100% volunteer, with the employee ranks from all business units globally. From a BRG perspective, we have a presence in 30 countries and 250 local chapters. And our passion for serving students does not end once a child graduates from high school. We also get involved in post-secondary programs to assist students in continuing to follow their passions. We've partnered in the U.S. With schools such as Florida A&M and North Carolina A&T, and we also work with the foundation in China that works with 4 different universities with an emphasis on women in science. Additionally, we believe that we should support local. When working with small and diverse businesses in the U.S., it's a job creator. Globally, it creates access to studies. In 2023, we established the Center for Excellence in South Africa. It offers hands-on training for STEM students. This helps in cultivating the talent of the future, the next wave of scientists. So why is data from diverse patients in clinical trials important? Thermo is trying to serve as an end-to-end provider of affordable health solutions, an expansion of participation in clinical trials so that there is more accurate data and information in understudied patient populations. By focusing on the specific communities, Thermo can partner with organizations that are at the front lines of disease prevention. Thermo has identified more than 100 low and middle income countries where they can work with local stakeholders to influence public policy. An example would be the Thermo HIV drug resistance genotype kit. By getting kits out to the general population, they would be enabled to help people receive better health outcomes. The pursuit of health equity is a win for all involved. It will grow the divisions of Thermo from a sales and service perspective. It will deepen its relationships with customers such as global pharma and biotech. It will improve the quality of data coming into clinical trials, resulting in more effective drugs going to market sooner. It will help companies make determinations as to where they should spend their R&D monies and what innovations to focus on. And it will expand access to STEM initiatives in communities where they might not otherwise have exposure. That exposure will deepen the talent globally for scientists of the future. So how does it all fit? And why is it important? Thermo has the mission of enabling their customers to make the world cleaner, healthier, and safer. Thermo is a diversified company that brings a variety of offerings of products and services to work with customers based on their desired solutions. There is a physical presence in more than 40 countries, and the deployed resources differ based on demand. They make foreign investments to be part of communities of learning, and as an example, a part of the World Health Organization mRNA Vaccine Technology Transfer Hub, where they built vaccine production capacity in low-income countries. Thermo Fisher equipped a new facility in Rwanda with updated technology and workflows to support regional manufacturing and pediatric vaccines in Africa. Can you imagine the impact globally if these types of projects were replicated over and again? How would the world's health outcome change? How would that additional data from understudied populations help in curing diseases that are currently managed but not prevented? By focusing on rest of world and the emphasis on being on health equity for those 100+ countries, identifying spend around innovation and R&D, it would positively impact billions of lives for the better. I am hopeful that Thermo will expand and deepen its emphasis on health equity, as it will literally change the world as we know it. Thank you for your time.